Have you ever been in a situation where you desperately needed something, and I mean desperately, only to have it appear at the exact moment that you needed it? Maybe you experienced that heart-pounding moment when the bills are due, resources are gone, and you have no idea where help will come from. Today I'll share a story of when Don Bosco was in this exact situation, when a miracle happened.
The Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Adrian Fonseca. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Welcome to the Miracles and Prophecies of St. John Bosco. I'm Adrian Fonseca. These videos exist to share Don Bosco's timeless wisdom that can transform your spiritual life and inspire you to grow closer to Christ and Our Lady. In today's story, you'll discover something remarkable. When you step out in faith for God's work, even when it seems impossible, Divine Providence has a way of showing up, often in the most unexpected ways. And before we dive in, here's a question for you. Have you ever taken a leap of faith when every logical part of your brain was screaming, "Don't do it"? Keep that in mind as we explore Don Bosco's story. The year was 1862, and Don Bosco had a problem. Actually, he had several problems. His oratory was bursting at the seams with boys who needed to learn trades, but he had no place for workshops. He needed a new building, desperately. Now, any sensible person would have said, "Don Bosco, you can't build what you can't afford. Be prudent." But Don Bosco put all his actions into the hands of God, knowing that if God wanted it to succeed, it would. So listen to this letter that he wrote to the Marchioness Forsani that March. Turin, March 26, 1862. My dear Marchioness, this morning I am in a real scrape. I simply cannot put off paying a bill and am short of 400 lire. If you could speak to the Marquis for me and ask him to donate or at least loan this sum, you'd be doing a very kind deal. In the latter case, I will repay the loan from the expected lottery proceeds. Please forgive this inconvenience. The Lord will surely reward you and your family abundantly. Very gratefully yours, Father John Bosco. As you can imagine, renovations like these would require a lot of money. But we know that Don Bosco had many boys and a lot of faith, but no money. Don Bosco had the saying, "When my plans contribute to God's glory, I don't go by the money I have, but only by the need of such and such a work. I am convinced Divine Providence will help us. It has never failed us." As far back as 1861, Father Francis Dalmazzo had often heard him say that the little house in Valdoco would one day be a vast complex of buildings and ample porticios, that the Salesian Society would spread from there to the world, and that many oratory boys would become priests and missionaries to far-off America. Some people called him presumptuous. Others probably thought he was just plain crazy. But then something happened that makes you wonder who was really seeing things the right way. Here's how it happened. Charles Buzetti, who just gotten his contractor's license at Don Bosco's urging, took on the job. Poor Buzetti, he had to work miracles with limited funds and even more limited space. They were literally incorporating old shed walls into the new building because they couldn't afford to waste anything. Hence, the foundations and part of the wall of a former shed were now built into the new building, and Don Bosco recognized that the building disrupted the oratory's symmetry and would ultimately be torn down. But he stated that he would not allow such a waste to occur while he was still alive. The Lord has promised us everything that we need for our extensive work, but he promised us nothing for what is merely decorative. The work progressed, and eventually Buzetti came to Don Bosco needing several thousand lire for materials and wages. Now remember, Don Bosco was already 400 lire short just paying his regular bills. But did he tell Buzetti that he didn't have the money? No. He assured the contractor that he'd have the funds immediately. I can only imagine what was going through his mind as he was walking to his room. Where on earth was he going to find several thousand lire? He sat at his desk with a heavy heart, going through his mail when he found something strange. An unmarked envelope. It was thick. He opened it. Inside, 5,000 lire. The exact amount that he needed. No note, no indication of who sent it, just the money. With complete calm, and I'd imagine more than a little spring in his step, he went downstairs and handed the envelope to Buzetti. To this day, nobody knows where the money came from. Maybe God inspired someone to deliver it secretly. Or maybe he made the money appear miraculously on Don Bosco's desk. I mean, he is God, and he can do whatever he wants. What I love about this story is what happens next. Did Don Bosco become more cautious? Did he say, "Whew, that was close. I better not push my luck"? Nope. He opened a blacksmith shop, then workshops for tailors, shoemakers, bookbinders, printers, and even dyers and hatters. Every time a need arose, he met it with action, not hesitation. You know, this story of unexpected provision reminds me of something exciting happening right now with our monthly promoter program. We've completely transformed our gift offerings to provide you with more for your generosity. When you become a monthly promoter, you're not just supporting our work, you're stepping into St. John Bosco's world. Every single monthly promoter now receives beautiful images of both St. John Bosco and Our Lady Help of Christians. Plus, you'll get copies of Don Bosco's own writings, his Roadmap to Heaven, and Sacred History. But here's what's really exciting. Your intentions will now be included in daily masses, not just weekly ones. Think about that. Every single day, your needs and prayers are being lifted up. Plus, we've added Crusade Magazine delivered right to your door every other month. Click the link in the description box down below to become a monthly promoter today. Don Bosco's mysterious envelope teaches us something profound. When you step out in faith for God's work, Divine Providence doesn't just meet your needs. It often shows up in ways that leave you absolutely speechless. Think about it. Don Bosco needed exactly 5,000 lire, and that's exactly what appeared on his desk. Not 4,000, not 6,000. Exactly what he needed, exactly when he needed it. His words still echo today. I am convinced Divine Providence will help us. It has never failed us. Those aren't just nice words from a saint in a book. They're an invitation to you right now, wherever you are watching this. Whether you're facing financial challenges, struggling with a decision about your ministry, or just trying to figure out your next step in life, remember that the same God who placed that envelope on Don Bosco's desk is still working today. Have you ever had anything like this happen to you? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your story. And if this story touched your heart, you'll love our video, The First 300 Lire, How Don Bosco's Humility Saved His Mission. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now to discover how Don Bosco overcame his natural shyness to secure his very first major donation. Thank you for joining me today. St. John Bosco, pray for us. May God bless you, and Mary Immaculate keep you under her mantle. God love you.